How's everybody? Thank y'all. Really, good to see you. Oh, thank y'all for coming. We lost Dave.
I'm right here, Governor.
Okay. Please sit, guys. Thank y'all.
You ready, Governor?
I'm ready.
Good afternoon, everybody. When this governor said he works around the clock, he's not exaggerating. About 10 o'clock last night, the governor contacted myself and Chief of Staff Casey and several others, Mike McCowan, our budget director, and said that he wanted to today present an alternative to the people of West Virginia. And we've worked literally all night and around the clock until about 5 minutes ago to finalize the governor's plan today. And with that, I'm going to yield the floor to the 36th governor of the state of West Virginia, the Honorable Jim Justice.
Okay. Again, going back to my proposal in the state of the state. And we're going to pass some things out to you in just a minute when we get done, and we're going to let you ask whatever you choose to ask, and I'll try to answer whatever I can. Net of the whole thing, as I've said it over and over, the left side of the equation is balancing the budget. And we have got to, and here's the component that it has to be for me, and that is balance the budget and don't cripple us. That's the left side. How we get there is a lot of different ways you can get there. And I've suggested ways to get there, and today I'm going to even come up with a different way to get there than what I've already told you. The right-hand side of the equation, now that doesn't do anything to get us up off the bed. All that does is stabilize the patient. Now, the right-hand, now stabilize without crippling. On the right-hand side is our growth, and the component that it has to have is immediate jobs. Now, it's really important that you understand the right-hand side has to have immediate jobs, not bet on the come, bet on potential, bet on opportunity. It's difficult to sell potential, you know. We have to have immediate jobs. That's why I've proposed a roads package that does everything for us. It does create immediate jobs, significant immediate jobs. So, now, the problem is this, and here's how I see it. Without any question, the most important thing we can do in the state of West Virginia today as legislators, in my office, all of us, the most important thing we can do is come up with a budget and come up with a pathway of growth. Now, we're 20 days into this situation. I've come up with a plan. I've surely heard back some criticism to the plan, but I've not heard back alternatives to what we can do. We're approaching the halfway mark, and it is pitiful for us to get to the point in time where we would have to have maybe a special session. Why? We work on so many different things, and not to take anything away from what we're working on, but the most important thing is just this, and we got to get to it. We've got to get to rock solid solutions and put the people of West Virginia on a pathway to where we can get out of this mess. Now, so I've proposed things, and I want to get up here and I want to show you a different pathway. Now, It's not like I'm changing horses in the middle of the stream. I'm just coming up with alternatives while the other side is sitting and coming with, I haven't seen anything, nothing whatsoever. Now, so let me get up and draw a little bit, and I'll be very quick, and I won't bother you too terrible bad, okay? Left side, right side. Now, let's just put this over here on this side. This is the left side. Let's put in a bubble here $50 million of possible cuts. Now understand this. If they can find $150 million of cuts, I'd be all in. If they can find $50 million of cuts, I'd be all in. But this, to me, is going to be tough to do. It's just plain going to be tough to do. Now, they may come up with that, and if they do, I want you to understand wholeheartedly, I'm not opposed to cuts if they don't cripple us. But now just go over to the other side. Look here. We're $497 million shortfall. That's where we start. Now, here's, I think, a pathway that's different than the other pathway. Here's what you can do. You can go to a better health initiative and attack our soda pop, our sweet soda pops, and even more on cigarettes, and promote better health in West Virginia. Now think about it. If you went to a 1 cent on our soda, on our sweet soda stuff, it amounts to approximately $85 million. Now, if you went to 50 cents on cigarettes, it amounts to $47.8 million. Now, another thing you could do is this. You could say to our wealthy West Virginians, you see, my plan is just this. I think we ought to all be all in. We ought to all be pulling the rope together. And say to West Virginians with an income of greater than $200,000 a year, what we're going to do is ask you to pay $500. Greater than $250, we're going to ask you to pay $750. And greater to $300, we're going to ask you to pay $1,000. And what that's going to do is go into this SOS fund, Save Our State, from wealthy West Virginians to save our state. Now, I'm going to give you this, and so you don't have to worry about writing it off. All that'll get us is $8 million. Now, we can do the smoothing of the teacher's retirement. I'm not against that. I am deathly against the refinancing of our retirement system, because it'll end up costing us billions of dollars for what we save. But the smoothing is not all that bad. So we can smooth this, and that'll get us 40.7 million, 75 million. Now, we can lower, this is lower, my proposed 0.2% on our businesses. We can lower that. We can lower that to 0.75% on every 10th. And so basically, this almost becomes next to nothing. We can lower that so low, we can take it below a 10th, we can take it to 0.00075 on a dollar. Now, why then have it at all? And why is just this. If I'm John Doe and I'm going to pay a little bit more on my sales tax, I want everybody to be in. I want our businesses to be in. I want the exemptions to be gone. Now, one thing I have thought a lot about, and that's just this. The exemption on advertising, I'm going to back up and say it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's $5.4 million. And to be perfectly honest, the service that you give is very argumentative or very arguable to me, because the word that you get out, taxing that may not be the right answer. And for $5.4 million, I'm okay to just can that. Now, we could lower my proposal on sales tax. You could lower that proposal from a half a penny to a quarter of a penny. Now, all the other things basically stay in play. And the net of all this, when it comes down here, gives you a $63 million surplus. The only other thing that is big in all this is this. My SOS fund of $105 million needs to be scattered out over 3 years instead of 1 year, and make that, and so basically that's a $70 million savings, and that comes to a $35 million expenditure for SOS fund. Now, everything else is pretty easy. So at the end of the rainbow, here's what you end up with. You end up with a quarter of a cent on sales tax instead of a half. You end up with almost a nothing thing on your businesses. You go back up here and you gain a whole lot of ground on your health stuff, your sodas and cigarettes, and you come down here and you greatly reduce your SOS fund. You end up with a surplus by doing just that. It's a different pathway, isn't it? It's something that the people upstairs, you do the smoothing, it's a different pathway. All I'm trying to tell you is just this. I'm working like blooming crazy to come up with pathways that are going to get us there. Now let me go over here, other side, right-hand side. This is our roads. This is the right side. Now, over here, remember what I said. You got to do the left side and not cripple us. You got to do the right side and create immediate jobs. Immediate jobs. Now, here's the deal. 48,000 jobs. Nobody lose focus with this, please. You can sunset a bunch of that almost immediately by just the payroll tax here. Don't lose focus with this. This is everything. Now, here's what you can do. Everybody get this, please. I want every West Virginian to drive on our turnpike or drive on any toll road for free. I want them to drive for free. Now here's what we can do. We can set up a program for $8. For $8 you can buy an Easy Pass. Not mandatory. If you want. Okay? Now, this is if you want in anywhere you may be. In-state, out-of-state, whatever. $8. $8 you drive for free. If we toll more roads, as we build roads in the Eastern Panhandle and Northern Panhandle, wherever it may be, you still drive for free. If you don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. If you're never on the turnpike, don't buy it. It's just that simple. I mean, that's all there is to it. Now, we need to raise the turnpike fees in this scenario. We need to raise the turnpike fees from $2 to $4. Now watch how this works, okay? The $2 stays with the turnpike. The difference, the incremental difference from the $2 to $4, that goes into your bonding for all roads. Now, you need to raise your DMV fees from what I've proposed, and I want you to stay with me here, from 30 to 50 bucks. $20. If you don't want the $8, it's $20. And here's the other catch to this, is your inspection today, we think the full inspection of your vehicle costs $14 and change. You know, if there's not any repairs that are needed. We're going to take away the inspection process and do it every 3rd year. So basically, if you'll do the math, this increase amounts over 3 years. This increase amounts to 60 bucks over 3 years. Your inspection process will save you $29 and something, 80 cents or something. The net of the whole thing is we're asking the people on their DMV fee to raise their DMV fee $10.80 a year. Not 20 bucks, $10.80. That's what we're asking. Now, here's what you can do with all that. If you can do this, and it's not $20, it's $10.80. If you want the $8 easy pass, great, buy it. If you don't buy it. But here's what can happen. Your gas tax can go from an increase of 10 cents on gas down to 4.5 cents. So the net of everything I'm telling you is just this. Here's another pathway. Here's another pathway to 48,000 jobs. Here's a pathway, $8, you either have it or don't have it, don't care if you buy it or don't buy it, doesn't matter. All West Virginians go for free. All West Virginians are free. Great big. All WV free. Nobody pays. It's in West Virginia. Your vehicle's inspected every 3 years. We flip that back, it costs you $10.80 a year of additional monies. We change the turnpike fees from $2 to $4 and use that money to lower the proposed gas tax to 4.5 cents. So at the end of the rainbow, now what happens? You don't cripple. You almost have no business tax at all. You lower your sales tax to 1/4%. You move all those monies around like we're talking about. You move the SOS fund around, and you come to a number that you've got a surplus. On this side, you do exactly what I've already said. You change the turnpike fees from $2 to $4. You keep $2 to work on the turnpike all the time. You don't lose any revenues there. You keep that right there. You do the incremental money into the bonding, and you're off and running. 48,000 jobs, 4.5 cents on gas. Now, we've written all that up so you guys can have it. My point is, it's another pathway. It's a pathway with less pain. Now, and that's what we want, isn't it? A pathway with less pain. A pathway to real prosperity with less pain. So, the point I'm making is this. All day yesterday I worked on this. At 10 o'clock last night I called all the King's horses and all the King's men and said, we got to go to work. Because I think there's a way to do something that is different than what we've already proposed. Now, we're going to modify this and send this right back on up. At some point in time, the other side's got to get to work on the budget. That's the most important thing we can do. Now, I'll answer any questions you've got, and don't keep me forever, but fire away if you got something.
Started working today, actually from committee on its plan to revamp all taxes to replace it with a consumption tax.
Right.
How do you dovetail these two things?
Well, I don't know that you can dovetail, man. And let me just say this. Ultimately, down the road, I would love to see us eradicate the state income tax. But now just think about it. We are in such a mess. To jump to that is so phenomenally risky today. It's just not even possible. And the reason it's not even possible is because here's what you would basically be doing. You would basically be saying you have an unstable situation and you're going to lean heavily on the average everyday person to pay an enormous amount more in taxes to get you out of the mess. Our state needs to be out of the mess and then move there. I mean, just think about it. What if you're sitting at home, you don't have a job, and we raise your sales taxes by 2 or 3 or 4%? You know, and we raise all kinds of other taxes on you. You don't even have a job, or maybe you got a job that's making $35,000. You know, we're going to lean on you like crazy to make it come out, and in all honesty, it's a leap of faith beyond belief. Now, if I've got a job and I'm making $75,000, and I've got my state income tax is fairly significant, and you say I can do this, then at that point in time, I feel like I'm with you. But today, it's too big of a lean on our everyday people. It's too big a leap out of an unstable situation. If we were stable, I would be 100% behind it. I think that's where we need to go. But at that point in time, it's too big a leap. It's just too big a leap.
Governor, how do you get over the philosophical hurdle that many in the House and Senate on the Republican side, they just want smaller government. They want more cuts. That just seems to be something that right now there's no bridge between your proposals and what they say they want.
Kenny, you're a good man and a great West Virginian, but just hear me out. I am open to listen to any cuts that they want to come up with, anything. I am not open to just putting a dagger in the heart of West Virginia where it won't recover. You know, the premise that we're smaller in the number of people, so therefore we can be smaller in things that are services or whatever that are out there, is just smoke and mirrors. I mean, when you get to the point in time where there is no way, there is just plain no way other than strangling us. And at that point in time, it's just going to get worse. I can't tell you that if you constrict more people are going to leave. They're leaving now like crazy. More people are going to leave. Well, when more people leave, revenue goes down. And then you're faced with the problem again, and again, and again, and again. And basically what I've said, when you do that, you're creating the China syndrome. You're creating a spinning that you can't stop. You just plain can't stop. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I got my left side and my right side.
Well, I know, but
So, way back at the beginning, there was 50 million cuts, I think. You had originally presented 27 million. Are there specific cuts you've got in mind?
no.
Okay.
No. My cuts are still there.
Okay.
Okay? Everything in my original budget's there. The only thing I modified is this. But I put this 50 million in cuts up here as just a pie in the sky thing that the legislature maybe possibly could come up with. If they do, we could even adjust things there even further. You could do away without the cigarette tax. You know, If they come up with something that is legitimate, we could even make that even better. We could do away with the sales tax, you know, I mean, do away with the commercial business tax, you know. But what I'm saying is, that's just if they can do it. I've already put in cuts that I think are doable, and I'm willing to look at additional possibilities if they don't cripple. That's the bottom line.
The $8 Easy Pass, is that available both in-state and out-of-state residents?
I think we've discovered through everything that it is going to be available for out-of-state residents as well. Now, it's going to cut into our money a little bit, you know, and because you got people right across the border over in Mercer County, right on the other side of the border, they're going to pick up an $8 Easy Pass when they've been paying $200 a year or something like that, and it's going to cut into our money a little bit, no question about that. And that's why I built into $4 instead of $2. Yes, sir.
Will these items, including the cuts and potential taxes, wind up in a separate budget document or a separate bill?
Yeah, we're just going to amend what we've already sent up there, and we'll be doing that very quickly. Yes?
I just wanted a little clarification about the $8 Easy Pass. This is something that everybody purchases?
No. If you want it. Only if you want it. It's optional. It changed. Remember I said in the beginning, $30 to $50 and add an additional $8 on and we're going to charge to everybody. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to let you decide if you want it or not want it. You know, if you want it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. That's where you get back to $20 and eliminate 2 of the 3 years of inspections, and that $20 really becomes $10.80. You follow what I'm saying there? So really, you're only asking for a $10.80 increase. And it could even be less than that, but $10.80 instead of $20.
Governor, where are you moving the funds in the Exhibit A that you've given us? Is that from the general revenue fund?
No, they're still there. Same thing.
So they would just,
This is my original budget,
okay.
and it didn't change, and I just wanted to make sure that you knew if you, let me see, I need the other sheet. If you follow this right here, this second page, this don't cripple page, and you get over here to where it says beer tax, liquor tax, and blah, 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 86 million. You know, that's this. That's Exhibit A. So if you would, please do this, okay? Write Exhibit A on your little sheet by beer tax, okay? On this sheet. On this sheet right here. Now, I'm going to just pause long enough for you to write that, because I want to make sure you got your, it's this sheet right here. This sheet. On the second page, by beer tax, write Exhibit A. And then you've got Exhibit A over here. And that's this beer tax, okay? And under B, or under other changes to anticipated expenditures, write Exhibit B. Because that's Exhibit B. Well, it's on here. It says Exhibit A, Exhibit B. You know, it says that. It's on there. You got it?
On the professional services, tech sales taxes, we assume that's law and accounting, but what professions actually would lose their exemptions, or has it been determined?
You got to say that.
Phil, the only thing that changed from the prior proposal is advertising is
What are
the
the
other.
professions that lose their exemptions? I don't think I ever understood.
Well, there were professional services like law firms, CPA firms, things of that nature. The advertising exemption is now under this proposal going back to remaining as an exemption. The other professional services, mainly law firms, CPA firms, are losing the exemptions still under this proposal.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to What was your status? Did you just rise?
No, I was sitting at my desk writing, you know, just writing, you know, and
Your desk at
I'm,
home?
yeah, at home and, you know, wherever I am, I'm just writing. I'm just thinking and writing and, you know, I don't know how, but the good Lord's blessed me to not need a lot of sleep and I told you before, I'd be all in, you know, I mean, and I'm all in, and I'm working all the time, and I'm trying to fix it, and I'm trying to help us. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find a pathway that makes it a little easier for everybody. Instead of 10 cents on gas, 4.5 cents. I mean, 10 cents on gas, you know, it was probably a little tough. I mean, you know, to be perfectly honest, but if we can get this thing to where it's 4.5 cents on gas and do the smoothing and get the quarter of a percent on sales tax, and maybe we can pick up some health advantages by maybe a few less kids. Gosh knows, it would have been great if I'd have drank a few less cans of sweet soda pop, you know, but you know, maybe we can help a little bit. Yes.
Is the soda tax and the cigarette tax in addition to the wholesale beer and liquor tax?
Yes, it
On
is.
the other plan?
Yes, it is.
And that's one of the ways you're able to drop the gas tax?
Not the gas tax, that's over here. The ways you drop the gas tax is you go to $2 to $4 on the turnpike, you know. The way over here, you drop your sales tax and you drop your business tax and you do all that by those health taxes. And please remember, this side over here has 63 million in a surplus, you know, that you can dovetail back. This side over here doesn't have anything for if there is some additional cuts that we can come up with that we don't have today. This side doesn't have that in them. You know, not me, but if the legislator comes back with something that is legitimate in a cut, we can dovetail that into the whole thing. But now, wait. The other thing is, remember though, this 48,000 jobs over here, I mean, please don't just fly by what that's going to do in payroll taxes. And that in essence sunsets a lot of this over here.
200 million, is that what you said?
Well, 250 million.
The question I was asked, I didn't know the answer. When you say a sugary drink tax, is that every canned beverage? I mean, there are diet drinks that don't have sugar in them?
Not every,
What
but
do you tax? Just the ones with sugar?
the ones with sugar.
So the diet drinks like Coke Zero or whatever,
Yeah,
that's.
they're
no
not
sugar,
included,
it would be-
no.
okay.
But we're talking about things, Kenny, like,
have sugar.
yeah, like Gatorade, things of that nature. And again,
Things that we just feel like by the health officials that have come and begged and pleaded and lobbied and everything with us, they've come and they've convinced me wholeheartedly that we can genuinely help the health of our state if we do this.
So you're not doubling the pop tax that already pays for the medical schools, it would be a different tax, some different drinks.
Yeah, it's a different tax. Yeah, and you raise a good point. There's the sugary drink proposal and then the pop tax. The pop tax has been in place since 1952 that goes to the medical school. It's 1 cent. This is a different approach. This is a
And that can stay.
sugary drinks tax.
That can stay right there.
Yeah.
The pot tax is 1 cent per ounce.
It's,
Yeah.
no, it's
No,
1 cent
It's 1 cent.
per 16.9 ounces.
This would be 1 cent per ounce on sugary drinks.
That's
Right.
correct.
So $1.44 for a 12 pack,
Well,
a 12 pack of cans.
and if you drink that, you're going to have $144 in medical bills.
One other thing that I wanted to mention was, there's been a lot of discussion about this plan, or at least it was discussed, about taking the pension payout plan and refinancing it. It's on its 17th year, it's the 23rd year of a 40-year plan. The numbers, the actuarial numbers on that are staggering. And that's not included in this proposal. This proposal only talks about smoothing over a 4-year period for the teacher's plan. The numbers to refinance that 40-year plan and take it out to a 30-year payout schedule are multiple billions. And Mike McCowan's here, I believe it's over $3 billion.
And I
Yeah.
get that, somebody get that. If
3 billion.
If we refinance, it could cost $3 billion to save some, you talk about penny wise and pound poor, I mean, that's a no-no. And not only that, the bonding, the rating agencies would have already said, that's the end of you if you do that.
Governor, Mr. Secretary, what if you could just in layman's terms explain smoothing? I mean,
You go,
Okay.
you go.
Kenny, I asked that question this morning. That's
Hey,
a good
but
question.
I can go, you know.
And-
Yes, peaks and valleys.
I tell you what.
As far as,
I think I can explain it, but I know Mike McCowan is perfect.
Mike,
at it.
you
And
do
I'm
it.
Mike, I want you to do this.
but we're just
because
ironing out those peaks
I
and
want this
valleys.
to be totally
Go.
accurate, okay? Mike,
Totally accurate,
ahead.
Mike. Come around here.
come on up here.
Just take your time now.
Very simplified explanation. This is not, I'm simplifying it just so that we can understand it, not an actuary. The regular, if we fund FY 18's teacher's retirement at the way we've been funding it, it would require an additional $70 million to be put in next year in FY 18. Smoothing would smooth that payment. Instead of $70 million having to go in 18, FY 18, you would only have to put $30 million in. Now you're going to make that $40 million savings up over the next 3 years. It's a 4-year smoothing. So instead of putting $70 million in year 1 and assuming that you earn 7.5% interest in years 2, 3, and 4, where you would have to put 0 in, you put 70 in the first year, 0 the second, 0, 0. Smoothing, you only put 30 in the first year, and then 15 the second, 15 the third, 15 the fourth. Okay? You smooth those payments. Again, you're assuming
And
investment earnings.
let me add this. The window is, you look at the 2017 window, okay? And that window, our earnings are in excess of 7.5%, and that's what we base it on and everything. So basically, our earnings are going to be at a level that you're going to go 70 and then a 0. So basically, we know that you can smooth and really not cost you any more money, no more money.
Now, this was done on PERS about 3 or 4 years ago. It has not been done on the teacher's system. So this is the smoothing is the teacher's side of the pension program.
The reason we went up so high is the window in 16, we had 0 growth. And so now we have a great big obligation, a big spike, you know, but the window we have now shows us with significant growth, and so we can iron it out.
You anticipate getting this to the legislature today?
Probably not today, but our people are going to have it up there tomorrow.
Thank you.
She asked a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Just another clarification on the $8 easy pass, is that per year or is that?
That's per year. Again, completely optional. Okay? Okay? I'm here. I mean, I'll sit here till the cows come home.
We met last week about Moody's, and we have a current fiscal year gap. I thought I heard some reluctance after that announcement to dip into the rainy day fund. Did I perceive that right, or is that still probably the way it's going to go?
We told Moody's and others that we probably, I mean, you can't solve that $123 million. I mean, now. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. And again, I keep going back to the same thing. I'm here trying to fix it. I didn't create it, you know. I've been here 6 weeks now, you know, but the situation is, if there is a shortfall, it's got to come out of rainy day. Has to. And we're finding some things that maybe we just, and I don't want to promise this because now this is betting on potential again. But we're finding a few things that it may not be quite as bad as what we think. You know, it could come in at 85, or it could come in at 100, something like that. But it's still real money.
Brad, I did a conference call with Moody's the day that they did the morning they did the downgrade, and we made it clear to them that we were going to use the rainy day fund for this fiscal year, but on July 1, 2017, not one more penny.
He should have answered that instead of me. Way to go, Dave. We done? Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, sir.